right, 5 minutes after 9 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Such an honor to have our next guest. Walter Charnoff is on the phone. He's a contributor to CNN Money, the Wall Street Journal, Forbes, Bloomberg Business Week, and it goes on and on and on. He's the CEO of Investability Real Estate, speaking to us about ways to make the most out of real estate opportunity investments. Have you ever thought about doing this? Let's find out what we can learn from Walter. We got 10 minutes to learn everything he's learned in his whole career. We're going to learn in 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Good morning, Walter. How are you?
Good morning. Excellent. How are you?
Pretty good. Thank you for being on the air. Where are you calling from?
Denver, Colorado.
Denver. That's a great place to be right now, isn't it, as far as real estate is concerned?
Yeah, the market's doing pretty well in Denver. So, it's a great real estate market.
Yeah, I know a guy from New York who moved out to Denver just for that very reason.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
Wow. All right, so how long ago did you become interested in investing in real estate? Was this something you started as a younger man?
I started investing in real estate and looking at real estate as investment in my mid-20s, actually. I was a financial planner at the time. I was managing a sizable amount of money and started diversifying a lot of my clients into real estate. And at that time, I even learned that you could buy real estate in your retirement accounts. So a lot of my clients that had a meaningful amount of money in their 401ks and their IRAs and their money purchase plans, I started helping them buy real estate with. So that's when I really got into it.
So traditional wisdom, I guess you say, usually says that real estate is always going to, be a profitable venture. But there were a few years when it wasn't. Are we likely to not see those few years again for a long time?
Nobody really knows. I think when the next compression cycle is going to come, if you look at like a 20 or 30 or 40 year line of real estate, it goes up, but it goes up in peaks and valleys of ups and downs. So sometimes the market does take dips. So that's why when you invest in real estate, it's important to prepare for times when maybe housing prices might not be as high, like buying homes and making sure that you still have some equity, so not financing them to 100%. And then buying homes that cash flow, and really understanding, if you're buying them for investment, and really understanding your hold horizon so you know if you can hold the home through a potential dip in the market.
Does technology change the playing field for investors?
I think over the last few years, or the last 5 years especially, the technology has dramatically changed the playing field for investors. If you look at the market as a whole, really since the mid-'70s, approximately 10% of the housing stock, the single-family housing stock in this country, have been single-family rentals. So that's a big number that a lot of people really didn't realize. And if you look at how many single-family real estate properties have been purchased by mom and pops since 1999, it's been pretty consistently over 1 million units a year, even with the dip that we had in 05 and 06. So mom and pop investors have been a strong contributor to the gross real estate sales in this country. But what happened in 2011 is Wall Street made a pretty aggressive entry into the space. And when they did, a lot of sophisticated tools and technologies and resources followed them in. So today there's much better analytical tools, evaluation tools, and even resources available to purchase and manage properties.
And it always boils down to the people who you are going to rent to. How can you trust the people to take good care of the physical property?
Yeah, so your tenants are certainly one of the main components of how well you're going to do real estate investing. So, like for me, I've bought and sold a meaningful amount of homes. I've helped people buy, at this point, hundreds of thousands of homes, and I still use property managers when I buy a property. I like to have somebody professionally screen my tenants, and then I like to have somebody manage that process, make sure my tenants stay happy, and also make sure they take care of the place and pay the rent on time. So I think having a property manager is a great way to ensure you have a good tenant in a property. Other ways, if you would like to do it yourself, is make sure you run a credit check, make sure you interview and get to know the tenant, make sure you look at their past rental history, try and check for evictions, and then use some kind of property management software to manage the property.
What is investability? What is that?
Investability is really a marketplace that we created to allow mom and pop investors to have access to three resources they really didn't have before, especially outside of their own backyard. So, one, access to the same analytics Wall Street uses to be able to evaluate geographic areas where they may want to invest, and then also properties within those areas. Two, resources in the areas they're going to look to invest in, like property managers and realtors who understand real estate investing. And then three, real estate opportunities, properties that they can purchase for their real estate investment objectives.
Does it include business real estate?
So investability is for primarily single-family properties.
Okay.
So it's not commercial or mixed use. It's mainly for single-family rentals or even some multifamily rentals, but properties that you intend to buy and either flip to a retail homeowner or rent to a tenant.
And you have a phrase in there called rent range.
Yeah, so Rent Range is a sister company that we have. That company actually provides rental market data and analytics. So we evaluate rental markets across the country and then rental properties across the country, and we're able to determine things like potential growth, vacancy rate, estimated rents, and other factors that impact the rent potential of a geography and a home.
If we go to the does it help us out with avoiding headaches? I'm guessing that no matter what you do, it's going to be a give and take venture in any investment opportunity, really. But I think real estate is exciting for a lot of people. It's real. You can see it. It's got its own set of problems. Does the website help us figure out if we're new, how to handle those problems?
Yeah, so we have the beginnings of a resource center on there to begin to start helping you understand the concepts of real estate investing, and we're adding to that all the time. So, the plan is to, in the near future, have a complete curriculum on there to help you from everything with how do I select the geography, how do I select the right property for my investment objectives? Am I going to hold this for retirement? Am I going to sell it when my kids go to college?
Yeah.
Am I looking for cash flow? And then even how to select the proper professionals to help you manage and hold your properties.
And sometimes people would like to have a partner to invest capital in the business so they can purchase these units for rent. I mean, how do you know you're going to get along with your partner?
Yeah, so that's a much tougher question to answer. So right now, we don't really have a mechanism for matching investors with partners to own and hold the property with. That is a pretty complex situation when you're dealing with different personality types and people who may or may not know each other. We do have mechanisms for finding financing to buy properties. A lot of people don't realize that today, in a lot of cases, it's even easier for a real estate investor to get a loan to purchase a home than a home buyer. There's some great new programs available for real estate investors to purchase homes, and also people can use their IRAs to purchase homes. So most people across the country don't realize that they can use their retirement funds to purchase rental property. So we do help people find financing methods, but not partners at this point in time.
In Florida, we have different rules for taxation purposes for homes that are your primary residence and homes that are not your primary residence. Is that, since obviously you are marketing to the whole country, are the rules of each different state covered, I guess, on the website, or is that up to us? We've got to figure out the rules of our own states.
So I would say that we do take into account the different scenarios in various states when we run the cash flow calculations on the website and the cap rate calculations on the website. However, I would always recommend to anybody purchasing a home, check with your accountant, check with your CPA, make sure you really understand how that type of purchase not only impacts you because of the state you live in, but also because of your current financial situation.
And you've really fine-tuned this, because what took weeks to research, you guys can do it really quick.
Yeah, so it used to be you would have to go into the MLS, find some properties that you may like to look at as an investment, and then run the calculations on every single one to determine if those properties made sense for you. Whereas on investability, in under a second, you can go in, you can put in your criteria, and then less than a second later, we'll show you only the properties that meet your investment objectives. So,
wow.
Big time saver.
All right, I know we have a very short interview with you, and the phone has been ringing. I will advise anybody who's been trying trying to call in, to go to the website that I have here, investability.com, spelled exactly as it sounds, investability.com. Walter Charnoff, do you want to give any other websites, or is that the one?
That's the one I would go to.
Okay. Walter, thank you for being on the air with us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
All right, we will be right back.
The weather is brought to you by myfwc.com. Safe boating is no accident. On this Wednesday, mostly sunny and quite pleasant. High 75 to 79. It'll be clear Wednesday night. Lows ranging from the mid and upper 40s in the coolest inland spots to about 60 along the coast.